Boker Tov, good morning. Today's Friday, September 1st, Erev Shabbat, Parshat Ki Tavo. I'm recording this a day prior to the 1st. It's actually the 31st as I'm recording this. And you can tell I'm wearing a little sweater because I'm not in the warmer environments of Westchester and White Plains. I'm up in the Pocono Mountains where I've been for a length of time. And it's been a really important and restful period for me. Even though I've been working on drashot for the high holidays and thinking a lot about doing planning for the shul, it just is a place of calm that really has been become like essential to me in terms of my preparing myself for the period ahead, just gathering myself, detoxing, and re-energizing myself. I'm thinking about what it means to be specifically right where I am right now. That's next to this brook. This brook runs from the lake that's a little further up. It spills into this brook and comes on down. And I was thinking about this brook as I was being Maver Sedra and going over the Parsha, where the Torah talks about the transitions that the children of Israel are going to make. It opens by talking about Ki Tavo ha'aretz, when you just come into the land. So you just come into the land. But a few psukim later, it describes the Hayah ba'Rachemet ha'Yarden, when you cross the Jordan River. The Yarden, which is larger than this brook is, although in certain places right now it's pretty narrow and shallow. 3,500 years ago, clearly, as you read through Sefer Yehoshua, you know that God had to split the waters so that they could cross over. It was a bigger deal than it might be in certain areas now. But I was kind of imagining, what does it mean to be on one side, one banks of the river, or the other? And not much changed. I mean, the Israelites would get up in the morning and they prepared themselves and they crossed over, and then they were on the other side. Okay, it's just another day's journey. But everything changed. From this side, again, it's a little bit more, woodsy here, this side to that side. To that side, suddenly a new life lay ahead for them. They were no longer on the eastern banks of the Jordan River, which, at least according to, depending on how you read it, did not have the sanctity of Eretz Yisrael, or wasn't Eretz Yisrael in the same sense, and they cross over, and then suddenly everything changes, and there they are. They're living in the Promised Land. They are in the Promised Land. Just cross over this body of water. Bodies of water tend to really divide between realities for people, depending on the time of year, whether they're passable or not, depending on the times of the rains or not. Here, earlier in the week, I saw a deer cross by the water. It was quite happy to be. This is pretty shallow, as I mentioned, and you kind of think about, are there impassable bodies of water for us? Does it require some major action on the part of God to split those waters so we can get from one side to the next? Or can we step into waters that aren't so deep and be able to have a new phase to whatever we're looking for, whatever's on the other side of that river? It's interesting to me. I was sitting here on Shabbat, and I was davening. Was singing the tefillah, and I saw there's a road up ahead, and I saw some people looking down, and so I quieted down. I didn't want to draw attention to myself. And then, right there on this other side of this brook, I'll bring it over again. On the other side of the brook is actually a trail, and around 30 seconds later, the same folks are walking down the trail. And I say, I now got drawn attention to myself, and a woman peeks down and just looks at me and says, "Shabbat Shalom." Shabbat Shalom. And it felt, that became a mystery. Who are these people? Because I'm not in an especially Jewish space that I'm in right now. And I realized, as I'm thinking about it, that whatever's on the other side of the river doesn't have to be radically different. It could actually be something which is quite warm and similar, even if it is a place and a part of our engaging in a change for ourselves. Even if I'm looking to have different experience for myself, or a richer experience. It doesn't have to be an altogether radically different one. On the other side of the river, they say Shabbat Shalom to you on this side, and it's almost this welcome. So I don't know how profound that is, but for me, I've been thinking about whatever the transitions that we're going to be engaging in, as we should, in these weeks ahead. Rosh Hashanah is going to be 2 weeks from tonight. And what are we imagining? What are we being asked to do? And so there's this radical version of it which says, like, okay, we are awful, we are evil, and we're being asked to cross that river and put whatever else is about us behind us, and that ugly side to this beautiful side that we're supposed to try to get to, which of course people have a very hard time getting to, right? But what if it's not that? What if each side is not that different from the other, and yet you need to cross. You need to cross and say, okay, here's a similar, but I intend to make it enhanced. That's all I got to do. I have to enhance it. I have to better it. I have to correct it, but it doesn't have to be radically different at all. Not at all. So just a thought for you as we enter this Shabbat, Parshat Ki Tavo. We'll hear the blessings. We'll hear the curses that are there. May we indeed be worthy to receive God's blessings in all that we do. Bevoecha v'tzeitecha, as you come in and as you go out, and as you are on this side of the banks of the brook, or on the other side, let it indeed be one that will lead to greater bracha in all the transitions that we have ahead. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom.